everyone! So a few days ago I asked a question on my Instagram story asking what kinds of videos you guys would like to see on my YouTube channel, and a lot of you guys requested that I do an eye tutorial. I actually already did an eye tutorial around 2017, but I don't think I was very clear because I got a little bit of confusion and a lot of questions. So I promised that I would make this into a video if that happened. So here we go. So starting off, I already have Clip Studio Paint open. As you can see at the top, it's a 3200 by 2400 pixel canvas at 350 dpi. And as you can see on the side, I already have a couple of layers already set up. There's the base layer, the paper layer that I don't touch. There's the brown looking colored layer that I have hidden. I use that for contrast while I'm coloring. And above that is the skin layer and the pupils and the eyes layer. It's really important that you have the eyes and the pupils on different layers because you want to be able to edit and manipulate them later individually without affecting the other. So I made another layer above the skin layer, and I'm using the G pen to color in the white part of the eyes. Next, while still on the same layer, I'm going to select the Lock Transparent Pixel option, which is this icon right here. And what this does is basically allow you to color whatever has been drawn on that layer alone without affecting the other layers. So what I'm doing here is I'm just demonstrating what it's like to color on the layer with and without the lock option on. So without the lock option on, you can see that the purple color travels outside of the white portion of the eye and onto the skin. But with the lock option on, I'm able to just stay within the white portion of the eye without affecting any other layers. Here I have the lock option on the eyes layer so that I can recolor the lashes. Next, I'm using a color darker than the base color, in this case a dark blue, and I'm using it to shade half of the pupil. Using the same dark blue color, I'm using the G pen and just making spiky-like details along the border of the pupil. Using the light blue base color and the dense watercolor brush, I'm adding more details in the darker portion of the pupil. Make sure that your dense watercolor brush settings are somewhat similar to the settings I have set up here. Here I'm just using the dense watercolor brush and the dark blue color to add more details. Here I created a new layer above the pupil layer and clipped that new layer to the pupil layer by pressing this icon. Basically what clipping does is the same concept as the locking option, in that whatever you draw on the clipped layer, it will only show up within the layer it's clipped to, if that makes sense. But the difference between clipping a layer and the lock option is that with a clipped layer, you're able to add effects on that layer, which is what I have over here. I have the multiply effect on this layer, and what I'm going to do is use an even darker blue color and a soft airbrush tool to deepen the pupil by shading around it. Here I'm using a bright saturated purple to complement the blue eyes, and I'm using the opaque watercolor brush to make a tint at the top of the pupil, and I use the G pen to add more sharper details in the eye. Then I add a clipped layer above the pupil layer with the Add Glow effect, and I use the opaque watercolor brush and a light blue color to add some shine details in the pupil. Here I'm using the blur tool and brushing along the edges of the pupil to give it a softer illusion. And if you decide to do this, it's very important that you take the lock option off of the pupil layer, otherwise the blur effect won't blur. After blurring the pupil, I use the soft eraser tool to create more highlights in the edges of the pupil. To finish off the eyes, I used the blue base color and the purple highlight to make small dots on the lash line to make a more sparkly effect. I also used the skin's base color and the shadow color of the eyeball to create more details in the lashes. Alright guys, that's pretty much it for how I color eyes. The rest of this video is just basically me speed painting 5 different styled eyes. It's basically the same process, but very minor variation, I guess. If you guys would like to see more art, follow me at honobread at Instagram. If anything was unclear in the video, feel free to leave a comment below and I'll try my best to answer everyone's question. So thank you for watching!
少しすねだけどねにゃにゃに会いたくてすぐ帰ってくるよね。暇なあなたは僕を寝かせずにくすぐりまくって僕が暇で遊びたがるとあなたは寝るだけにゃ。毛糸玉よりおもちゃよりもっと好きなあなた温かく抱いてくれるあなたは大き猫みたい。いつも同じ飯やな風呂あなたは知らない。僕も外で遊びたい。寂しくしないで一緒にいてそばにいてよ。こうやってブツブツ言ってもにゃにゃもあなたもねまた旅のようなこの世界をいっぱい好きなんだと思う。
I played lots of songs for you, as many as there are stars. I wish I could do more, although I'm the grains of sand that slips through your hand. I swear by all the stars above, I have never forgotten you. Nothing can take the place of loving